Okay, hi guys, what we're going to do today on our Volkswagen Golf Mark 1 City Golf, we're going to replace the timing belt. Okay guys, the parts that we're going to need is our timing belt, as you can see, and then our belt tensioner. I specifically like this belt tensioner because not only is it a belt tensioner, it also arrives with a new stud and a new nut. Okay, the tools that we're going to need to replace the timing belt is firstly we're going to need a 21 socket on a ratchet. I'm actually using a plug spanner just because it's a little bit longer, it works easier. We're going to need a set of water pump pliers, a vice grip, a 22 open jaw spanner. We're going to need a 10 spanner, a 13 spanner, a 17 spanner. We're going to need a 6mm Allen key, a 5mm Allen key. If to make the job easier, you can use a ratchet with a 10mm socket, and then of course our circular pliers to tighten the tensioner with. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the one part of the air cleaner that will just give us some access to get to the timing belt cover. We're going to undo that run lock that actually holds the pipes and so forth in place. Right there, we've got a 10 spanner there, a little nut. Going to take that one off. Unscrew the nut completely. Going to undo that clip for the air cleaner housing. And we're going to take the whole air cleaner housing off. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the alternator belt off. So we're going to use our 13 spanner, our 22 spanner, our 6mm Allen key, and I'm just using a pair of water pump pliers to turn the Allen key with. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put 13 spanner onto the lock nut of the alternator, loosen it, then we're going to take our Allen key. I've actually already pushed it into its place there, and just loosen it there. That's the nut that holds tightens the alternator up. We're just going to give it a little bit of a release there. Take our 22 spanner and move the alternator a tad back so that we can take the belt off. Okay, right guys, now we have taken the alternator belt off. That comes out completely, so it's out of our way. And the next thing that we want to do is we actually want to get the vehicle onto the engine onto top dead center, but we want to make sure that it is top dead center and the number 1 intake and exhaust valve is closed. In other words, the engine is rocking on number 4. And the easiest way to do that is to look at your distributor. Okay guys, what we're going to do is we're going to trace our number 1 plug lead all the way to our distributor to see where it sits. And on this specific one, it sits right there at the back facing towards the cylinder head. So now we're going to take the distributor cap, take it off, and look where our rotor is standing. Distributor cap comes off, right? Our rotor is standing there, and we actually want it to face that way. So now we are going to turn the front crank pulley with our number 21 socket until we reach top dead center. Okay, if you look at your front pulley, your engine pulley, and the timing cover, you'll see right there is a mark on your pulley, and on the cover right there is a little arrow. Now once those two are lining up, that means that your engine is top dead center. And if we look at our rotor on our distributor, that is facing towards where number 1 is. So in other words, we are now top dead center with both the intake and the exhaust valves on the number 1 cylinder in the closed position. Okay, what we're going to do now is we are going to take the front pulley off. For that we're going to need our 21 socket. As you can see, it's already in its place, and a 6mm Allen key. There are 4 little bolts there that we're going to take off, and then the pulley will come off. Okay guys, now that I've broken those 4 Allen key bolts loose on the front pulley, I want to turn the engine back and make sure that the timing marks are on the same position again. So as you can see, I've actually given them some little white marks there to make it easier to see. My timing is right spot on, so now I'm going to take the pulley off. Okay guys, as you can see, we've got our front crank pulley off now. Next thing that we're going to do is we are going to take the covers for the timing belt off. This cover actually comes off in 2 parts. You've got the top part and the bottom part. The top part is held into place with a big nut there with an Allen key hole there. Takes a 6mm Allen key, and on top of your tappet cover there's a little number 10 bolt nut, and there's a number 10 nut. So we're going to take that off, and then the top part of the cover is going to come off. Okay guys, as you can see, we've got our top timing belt cover off. Now the first thing that you have to do now, and this is very important, have a look at the timing belt tensioner. As you can see, this one has got a 8mm bolt with a number 13 spanner to tighten it with. This is how it came out of the factory stock standard, but after that there has been an upgrade, and that nut and stud that comes out of the cylinder head has actually been made bigger now, and it's now 10mm. So what you need to do is, if you do not have a stud, make sure that the size of the stud and the size of the hole of your new tensioner is correct. If not, go and get yourself the right stud. Guys, as you can see, this is the new one. This is the 10mm stud, and that actually fits nice and snug through the hole of the tensioner there. So we're quite alright. As I said, this tensioner came with a stud, which is very great. If your tensioner did not come with a stud, make sure that you have got the right stud. It will not work if you take the tensioner with a 10mm hole and try and fit it onto the stud that is 8mm. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the bottom part of the timing belt cover off. That is actually held into place by a little 10mm bolt there, and if we go to the bottom, you will see right there, I've already got the Allen key in it, is a little Allen key bolt. So we're going to take those 2 out, and then the cover will come off. Okay guys, and then you'll see there's another Allen key bolt right there. I've got the Allen key in place already, and you're going to take that one off as well. Okay, our cover is loose, but as you can see, it will not come off yet, because what we have to do is we now have to take the water pump pulley off. Water pump pulley is just held into place with 3 Allen key bolts. So you're going to use your 6mm Allen key again and just take the water pump pulley off. We've got our bottom timing cover off, and the timing belt is now exposed. Now we're going to have to look for the timing marks. Remember, your engine must be on top dead center. This time you will not be able to check top dead center on your pulley because it's removed with the cover. So we are going to go through our hole at the back where we set the ignition timing on, and you'll see there's a little tab that sticks out on the flywheel, and that must be in line with a little pointer on your bell housing. Then what we want to do is, if you look at the inside of the pulley, right there, I've actually marked it white. There is your timing mark for your camshaft, and that must line up with your tappet cover. So those line up, and if you go to your sprocket that drives the shaft, that drives your distributor, it's got a little mark on it there, as you can see, and there's a mark on the cover at the back. I've also made them white so that you can see them, so that's where your timing marks must be. Now, as soon as you take your timing belt off, you put the new one on, you must make sure that all these marks line up. Okay, now we're going to take off the old timing belt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bolt that holds the tension into position, that little nut, take it off completely, and you will see that your timing belt tensioner now releases. And all that you do is you're going to pull the timing belt off of the pulleys without moving your pulleys. They must stay at their timing marks. Okay, as you can see, we've got the timing belt off. We've pulled the timing belt tensioner off, and there's that stud that I referred to earlier on. Now, to take that stud out, just take a vice grip and turn it out. I've already loosened it a bit, and I'm turning it out now, as you can see. And there you can actually see nicely what we mean. The stud has got a step down, so it's got a 10mm thread on the one side, and it steps down to 8mm, and the upgraded one is 10mm all the way. Okay, what I've done is I've taken our new stud, I've put it in, put a bit of stud locking agent onto it, something like Loctite, screwed it in all the way, and just tightened it a bit with our vice grip. Remember, when you grab the stud with a vice grip, do not grab it on the thread part, grab it on the shank part, because your vice grip is going to make a couple of marks on it. But there, our new stud is in, and now we can put the new timing belt on. Okay, before we put our belts on, we are going to just compare the old belt to the new belt, so that they are the same length, same width, just to make sure it's right. I'm quite happy they're the same, so we're going to put it back on. Okay, as you can see, we've got our belt on, with our timing marks still where they're supposed to be, and now we're going to tension the belt. Now, what I use to tension the belt is a circlip pliers. There's actually a special tool, but the chance of you having a special VW tool is slim. So we're going to take circlip pliers, put it into the two holes of the tensioner, and just tension the belt. Now, what we need to do is, you don't want your belt to be too tight, so as long as you've got about 2 to 3 millimeters play in your belt, then it is fine. And then we're going to tension up the bolt at the bottom. Right, next thing that we're going to do is we're going to check that our timing marks are still where they're supposed to be. In other words, our mark on our distributor is where it's supposed to be. Our mark on our camshaft sprocket is where it's supposed to be. And our timing mark for our engine right where it's supposed to be. And now we're going to turn the engine through 360 degrees. In other words, we're going to turn it all the way around to see that everything turns smoothly. Right, we've turned the motor through 360 degrees. We're checking the belt tension to see that it's correct. And we're also going to check our timing marks is where they're supposed to be. So we are quite happy with our timing. And now we're going to start putting the covers and things back. Okay, as you can see, we've got our bottom cover on. Now we're going to put the top cover on. Everything just goes back on in reverse the way that we took them off. Okay guys, as you can see, we've now got the pulleys back on. We've put the alternator belt on. We're going to quickly tension it. So what we're going to do is that big nut here on the alternator, we're actually going to turn it so your alternator belt picks up a bit of tension. You also, like on the timing belt, want about 2 to 3 millimeters movement on your alternator belt. So not too tight, not too loose. And then we're just going to tighten that 13 millimeter bolt at the top. And then last but not least, remember the Allen key bolt in there. We have to tighten that one up as well. Okay guys, as you can see, we've finished now. Everything's on. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start the engine. What is very important is you have to check the ignition timing. For that one, refer to the video that we did on engine timing, and as you can see, it's fairly easy. It's not a hard job to do. Busted knuckle factor of 1.5.
If you like my channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or feel free to leave a comment.